I like sports. I read a lot about sports. I played sports. I'm into sports. And I've been doing it long enough where generally I can figure out answers. I can figure stuff out. Then there's stuff like that's puzzling. I don't really understand that. I am hearing that there are a lot of people rooting against New England this morning. The line is 7.5, moving down to 7 because Tom Brady's hand's questionable. I don't think it's a big deal. The only problem Brady's going to have with that grip is when he grabs the Lombardi trophy, he won't quite have the strength as he had before the injury. But let me ask you something. When you wake up Monday morning, you want Jacksonville in the Super Bowl. I want you to think about that because a lot of times in life you do things, then you regret them. Jacksonville against Nick Foles. 2 weeks of talk. That's turning you on. Do you also go and watch the worst movie available at the theater? Do you go to the restaurant and order filet mignon? Or do you say, you guys have an E. coli burger? I'd like the salmonella. Really, you're rooting for Jacksonville. Monday morning, you're going to wake up and you've got Jacksonville. The biggest sporting event in America, a party. You'll have friends over. It's for a lot of people, they're not even sports fans, and that's a huge, huge day. And you want Jacksonville in that game. Not the best coach ever, not the best quarterback ever, not the reigning dynasty ever. I hear this too. Tom Brady, Colin, is boring. Oh, really? Touchdown passes are boring to you. Brady to Gronk, efficiency, running backs who never fumble, really smart coaching. That's boring to you. You know what I consider boring? Inefficiency. I find it tedious. You go to get a coffee in the morning and it takes 15 minutes because the lady behind the counter's gabbing. Oh, my God. And you're like, can you just take my order? I came in. I'm on my way to work. Can we get this process done? I like efficiency. You like inefficiency. Okay. Now, I don't find touchdowns boring and efficiency boring and excellence boring. I find Blake Bortles' 59% completion rate boring. That means barely more than a coin flip. When he lets go of the ball, somebody will catch it. 24th in completion percentage, 16 in touchdowns. That's less efficient. You want to watch incompletions. Riveting. I'm going to go Brady Gronk. Best tight end I've ever seen, maybe. Best quarterback I've ever seen, absolutely. Smartest coach. Don't make mistakes. Outthink you at every turn. That's a turn on for me. 7 times this year, Blake Bortles played in a football game and threw for 160 yards or less. Can you imagine that Super Bowl against that Viking defense in Minnesota? You want to watch Blake Bortles, who is inefficient at home, against that Vikings defense in Minnesota. That's going to be a hell of a party at your house. People say a lot of things. I understand that. I love bookstores. We had them. You didn't go. Amazon's where you order books and have for a decade. I hate the Yankees. Ratings go up every time they're on. Remember George Mason? This always happens in the Final Four. Everybody's like, Duke stinks. I hate Calipari. George Mason gets to the Final Four. They did once. You know what happened? Ratings plummeted. Nobody watched. But you go to Twitter, you retweet, I love Saxonville. Because I understand that there's always somebody that wants to, like the cool thing. You want to say something contrarian because it makes it, it's like conspiracy theories. I got something nobody else has. You see that all the time. Ringo Starr was my favorite Beatle. I preferred Yoko. Yeah. Really, it wasn't Michael Jackson. I was into Tito. There's always going to be that guy. Retweet Saxonville. But ask yourself, you watched anything on Netflix this week? Take an Uber? Ordered anything on Amazon? Stopped off at Starbucks to get a coffee? You know why you did all 4 of those? You like efficiency. Jacksonville isn't. New England is. You don't know it, but you're turned on by the Patriots. You can root against them in the Super Bowl. You can absolutely root against them against Minnesota or Philadelphia. I get that. You want them to be in the Super Bowl. Okay? You want them in there. Because you don't want to be hosting that party. And like 6 people don't show up because Blake Bortles is facing Nick Foles. Dude, parties are better when cooler people are at parties. Number 12 on your screen, you want him as part of your party. I mean, I was sitting there this morning thinking about this, and I'm like, if Jacksonville makes the Super Bowl, if you put it up there next to the NFL Super Bowl logo, it doesn't even look right. It looks like a cereal mascot. It's like that's the team in the Super Bowl? Okay. It's like a Pixar film. Doug Gottlieb. So I know you're rooting for New England because you root for interesting. You're rooting for New England.
Well, no one's. They say they're rooting for Jacksonville, but you and I talk about this in the NCAA tournament. Everybody wants Duke to lose until Duke loses, and then they turn off their TV set, right? So, look, the best possible scenario for the NFL in terms of eyeballs is the Patriots and the Vikings.
Yes.
Okay, because even if the Vikings win in the Super Bowl at home, it doesn't. There's no game which the Patriots won't be involved in. So you have the greatness of the Patriots, who still a whole lot of people don't like because of Spygate or Deflategate or just
they're good.
And Brady's good looking, and we talked about his hair earlier this week.
Yeah.
And then you'd have the Vikings playing in essentially a home game, which would bring actually some excitement and energy to that stadium.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody really wants the Jaguars to win. That would also destroy the narrative of the franchise quarterback means franchise success. And if Blake Bortles can lead a team to a Super Bowl, literally anybody could lead a team to a Super Bowl. And look, like, we can sit here and go like, we were wrong about Blake Bortles. But just ask yourself this, Colin. If you went through kind of your mental index and said, all right, nobody has a quarterback. You can draft 1 to 32. Would Blake Bortles go in the top 20?
No.
Right?
No.
Maybe not top 25.
In fact, today I was thinking about this. We had Greg Cosell on yesterday, and I'll do this later in the show, but he talked about Breeze, and he used the word mastered the position. He talked about Foles, and he said they mask his deficiencies. He talked about Bortles, and he said it's fairly simplistic. They're always trying to gain him confidence in the lead. When he talked about Case Keenum, he's like, they pile a lot on him. He's pretty good. Today, and I'm not a big Case Keenum guy, I take Keenum over Bortles. If I had to start my franchise, I'd take Case Keenum over Bortles. Would you?
Probably, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we see him as a backup.
He's absolutely he's the consummate backup.
The best in the league.
I'd have to kind of go through the league and think about it. But yeah, I mean, he's got the Ryan Fitzpatrick to him, right? To where he can fill in. But the arm strength issues and the lack of size become problematic at some point. Remember, He played. The ball was floating on him last week, and he's playing indoors with two outstanding wide receivers and a really good tight end.
He's got a real average arm.
He has an average arm. Yeah. Now, look, he played 6 years in college and threw for 1 million yards passing in that kind of wide-open system, playing for Art Briles and Kevin Sumlin, which also hid those deficiencies. But, like, look, in spot duty, he's pretty good.
Yes.
And remember, he's also dealing – they lost their starting running back, Dalvin Cook, for the year as well. So he's doing a lot, but I would take him ahead of Bortles. Bortles, you hold your breath.
Of course
you have no idea what's going to come out of his arm.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.